you guys have like any other topics you want to talk about, just let me know. But I wanted to talk more about, like Tesla and Elon Musk, and get your guys' point of views, especially you, Arvinder, working in the engineering space in terms of the car itself. What do you think of Tesla?
Tesla, I think it's a great company. Tesla, it's forward thinking. At first, it was a bit, how you say, it was very optimistic, and it wasn't. I remember like it wasn't making money for ages, and then straight away, obviously, as soon as people started switching, like obviously, the way to go forward is electric. Something just switched, and Elon Musk is now the richest person in the world, and with Tesla, it's not just about the cars; it's the infrastructure they're building as well. With and even their battery fuel cells as well, because you can even buy them separately as well for your own companies or cars, wherever they want to turn electric as well. And
do you think Tesla is a car company then, or do you think it's like an energy company?
It started out as a car company. I guess that's how the mass people view it. But when you look at, I'm not sure if Tesla alone is just a car company, but when you look at Tesla, you look at Elon Musk, and then he's got different companies where, like, is it the Boring Company he's got, where he does random stuff, and then he's got SpaceX as well. So I'm not sure if he classed that as part of Tesla, or is that like a standalone thing?
Well, I was listening and I was looking at like the market itself. Tesla's like worth all the major automobile cars industries, like Toyota, Porsche, Audi, Volkswagen, all that. They're worth pretty much the same value, if not more, of all the cars combined, all the different companies combined. Do you feel like people are just buying into the hype of Elon Musk, or do you feel like, oh my God, Tesla is so much worth so much more than all these other car companies combined?
That's what I thought. I was one of the first ones, when these electric cars came out, I thought it was just hype. And because it's the first time they've done cars. When you look at cars, you want to look at the German cars like BMW, Mercedes, the established brands. But now they have become established because the people who bought them cars, they have nothing but good reviews for them. They're actual really good, stable, quality cars that they've made. And now they're like the main people to go for an electric car, like Dyson is with vacuums. And I don't see the likes of BMW, Mercedes. It's going to take them a while, I think, to catch up as well, because even with like Jaguar Land Rover, I think they're all late to the game in terms of going hybrid. Because when you go from petrol diesel, you go to hybrid and then electric, and only recently they started going hybrid. And I don't see the point in hybrid cars. Either you go from petrol diesel, you go straight to electric.
Either you're fully in it or you're not.
Yeah, because the hybrid cars are kind of useless. I mean, they've still got the engine and they've still got the batteries as well, but the batteries don't use up that much, and then you still got to rely on your own petrol. Yeah, I guess it does kind of save fuel, but not really what it's meant to do in the long term.
Is your company worried about Tesla? That's all.
I think other companies and like Jaguar Land Rover, they should be worried, because even when you look at the government rules on it now, that petrol diesel cars will be banned in the future. So I'm pretty sure they've all got a plan to bring out electric cars. Because me and my brother, we test drove the Jaguar I-Pace. It's a brilliant car. It even put me back in my seat with the acceleration.
No doubt.
But the thing that's they need to work on is the infrastructure, which I think Tesla's doing more. And they need it. They're still a long way off, because that's the only downside, is that when you charge up the car, it takes ages, whereas when you put petrol in, it just takes minutes. And I know the range now of electric cars is the same as almost petrol cars now, but it's just the charging time. And I think, thinking about it now, how you got Volkswagen Group, they own like Audi, Lamborghini, all that, and I think Tesla will be one of those where they might own other companies to distribute their electric powertrain or whatever. They might be the electric car giants.
Okay, that definitely makes sense. I think in China they've got a company. I think it's NIO. They got swappable batteries. So I think I was telling Aaron, or had a conversation with you guys, and I said, why didn't Tesla just swap out the batteries? Because then it just reduces the time it takes to get a full charge, isn't it? But in China, they've got a company that does exactly that, and it's trying to give Tesla a run for money. But at the moment, they're the market leader. What about you, Aaron? You're a business analyst. What do you think of the rising Tesla stock market price? Do you think it's all hype? Do you think they're going to crash? Because the big short guy from I'm not sure of his name, but the guy from the film The Big Short, when they're shorting housing, he's shorting Tesla at the moment.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm not sure if it will crash actually, because I mean, I think what was it the other day they announced Elon Musk is now the richest person in the world, overtaking Jeff Bezos. And I've been said, that is the way cars are going in the future, because diesel and petrol cars they might be banned, or I think that is the plan. So I can't see them crashing. If anything, they just keep going up, maybe, because like if petrol and diesel are banned, then Tesla is already there. It's already at the finish line, whereas all the other car companies, have to build up and get there. So yeah, I think Tesla will just keep going, keep space going.
But do you feel like it's kind of lazy? Because I sort of expected, the year 2000, again, I'm a 1996 baby, so 4 years into the year 2000, I'd thought we'd have like flying cars. So do you feel like it's a bit of a cop-out where they're just building electric cars, which is basically cars which have had for hundreds of the years? They had electric cars, I think it was like in the 1940s, they released the first electric car. So do you feel like it's just a bit of a cop-out of instead of innovating and making flying cars, or looking at I think personally they should bring back the blimp, like the air blimp, which just goes down, picks people up. I think personally they should bring that back out because it's more futuristic than a car.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Was that is that safe though? Wasn't that stopped because they had some safety issues with it or something?
Yeah, they use hydrogen, which is extremely flammable, but I don't think they use that anymore. And it was just one bad perception, I would say, as opposed to anything else. But yeah, man, I think it's a bit challenging, considering as well, it doesn't really answer the biggest problem, which Arvind, I think you would appreciate as a engineer. How do you get rid of the infrastructure problem where there's too much traffic on the road, too many people having cars to drive, and there's too much traffic? Like, how would you solve it? I think you can get like £1 million if you solve it, by the way. So, no pressure.
I haven't given that much thought, but when you guys were talking about flying cars, it reminded me of, I don't know if it was Elon Musk or whoever said it. I heard it on a podcast where technically we do have flying cars. You know how we have flying cars? Bridges, bridges and flyovers.
That's a cop-out answer.
No, but it's technically, it's technically kind of true. But and also I think Elon Musk was working on underground tunnels, wasn't he, in America? Like shuttle tubes for cars underground. That's kind of one way to bypass traffic. But yeah, in terms of how to solve the infrastructure of traffic, I'm not sure. It's just, unless it's sort of making, in the UK especially, we just have, compared to other countries, we just have a lack of lanes. Where it's a narrow city, the roads are narrow, and we only have a few lanes on the motorway. Whereas when you go to other cities, bigger countries, they have so many amounts of lanes but no traffic at all.
I definitely, when I went to Mexico, I definitely noticed like the size of the highways that they had, which is gigantic. I just thought, crap, imagine if we have that in the UK. So yeah, I felt that.
I guess it's all relative, because the densest populations, there's always going to be loads of traffic, isn't there? And I guess maybe driverless cars in the future and autonomous vehicles could limit the amount of traffic. If with the efficiency and almost like might even be like lack of accidents as well.
Because I suppose I think when you say like driverless cars, I think like iRobot, where they'll just drive 200 miles per hour on the streets to drive around, I suppose. But as you touched on a bit earlier, do you think like Elon Musk is working on too many projects? Because you've got SpaceX, Tesla, Hyperloop, Boring Company, Neuralink, and all these other companies, Solar City, all these other companies that he's doing at the moment. Do you feel like he's working on too much, or do you feel like if he's the smartest guy on the planet, he needs to be working harder.
I mean, yeah. So no, I think for someone as smart as he is, I don't think he would be satisfied just working on one thing. I think for someone like him, it needs to try. Yeah, it needs to try new different things. You need to take risks and stuff. Because if you look at his past, he's just taken not risks, but he's built loads of different things. I mean, to go from creating like a PayPal to creating SpaceX, they're completely different. I think that just shows, just how smart he is and how many different things he wants to get involved in. So yeah, and yeah, I don't think he'll stop now. He'll probably find other things to do and get involved in.
Do you feel like it's fundamentally unfair compared to us mere mortals that he's a smarter guy? I'm assuming, we never know. RV might be a genius, like hidden genius, compared to Elon Musk. But do you feel like it's a bit unfair that we're slightly, I would say, and it's going to be controversial, handicapped compared to Elon Musk in terms of our capabilities? Do you feel like it's fair that he can compete, or do you think it's a good thing for the world?
And do you mean like we're not on his level, like that we can't catch up to him?
Basically, yeah.
I think you always need that you always kind of need that one standout person, don't you, to kind of lead the way and pave the way for other people who are coming up, and maybe might even do even better things than he did to surpass him, because there's always someone leading the way, and then even passing down, like teaching, like us mere mortals, as you say, to get to his level as well, and say, look what I've done, come join me. If he's like that, if he is generous like that.
I sort of like that, because I think specifically with our generation as well, we've had, I don't know if you guys experienced it, but when I used to play football for a team, yes, I used to play football for a team, because I don't really like it. They used to give out participation trophies. And do you feel like we should live in a society where it's winner takes all, or you should get like a clap on the back for trying? What do you think?
I mean, for someone like him, I don't know, he's put the effort in and he's worked to get into the place he is now. So anything he gets, he almost deserves it, really, because he is so far ahead of quite a few quite a lot of people in terms of the thinking and different projects he's working on. So yeah, I think if you're willing to put the work in, and then any success that you get is only fair, I think, really.
Okay. I think it's quite interesting, because if you go to Elon Musk, his counterpart would be Jeff Bezos. Another. Would you consider Jeff Bezos on the same level as Elon Musk, or would you say Elon Musk is slightly smarter than Jeff Bezos?
I think Elon Musk, yeah, he may be smarter, but the thing is with Jeff Bezos, you don't know, apart from Amazon, you don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's just a bit more private like that. I know he also had like a space company as well. I forgot what it's called.
Blue Origin.
Blue Origin, yeah. But you don't hear much about it, do you? He probably is doing, a shitload of stuff, same as Elon Musk, but we just don't know about it. But from what I've seen from Elon Musk, is that it's not just about the money for him. It's he's got a goal, and he's just going to do whatever it takes to get that goal, even if it is just doing 100 things at once, like SpaceX, Tesla. He just wants to keep innovating and keep going.
Do you feel like it comes down to that question of fair? If everyone's trying to play the game of Monopoly, and these guys are you'll never get to that level of richness. Do you feel like it's fair? Do you feel like we should overtax these people, send money to poorer people, or do you feel like they deserve the wealth they built?
I mean, yeah, if when the wealth comes to them, I guess they do deserve it. But I guess it's just on their own character if it's up to them to give back, to the community, because there's no laws for that, really. You could just do whatever you want. You've seen loads of dodgy stuff where they probably all dodge tax, and that's, I guess, that's their own. That's on their own, off their own wish, I guess. But there's loads of millionaires, billionaires in the world, and some there's always some that drop off, and then there's always new ones coming up anyway. and I'm a bit more hopeful because the ones who are coming up now are a bit more, caring about, the big community in the world.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, it's like the other day. I think Elon Musk actually tweeted like, who who should I donate to? What charity should I donate to? And I think people were giving him suggestions. So yeah, I think the money they get, they've obviously worked and put their stuff into the place where they earn that much money, and then if they are willing to donate to different charities, then yeah, I think that's fair enough. I mean, if you've got that much money, you would think it would make sense to really to start giving back, which is why I think he's trying to understand what's the best place to go, who's who's going to do more with the money instead of just giving it to anyone, I guess.
If you was that wealthy though, what would you do with it? Like, if I gave you 200 billion tomorrow, just like sneezed, and both of you had 200 billion, what would you do? Would life just be over for you? Because then there's nothing more that you can really achieve, is there? What do you think?
I guess it would be just when you achieve that point and you buy all the things you want with it. Like, I'll probably buy like a massive mansion, all the cars that I ever wanted, go on all the holidays, see the world. But then after all that, I guess it would be just to give back, because what will you do with that money? You're not just going to sit on it until you die. Are you going to give it all back, to the community, or pass it down to generations of your own family or whatever?
So you would give it all back?
Well, by the time I die, I would like to have given it all back, or pass most of it down to family.
Mad.
Because I think I'd get bored.
Yeah, actually, so here's a question: if you just got that much money, you say tomorrow, like actually, you wake up, you got 200 billion in your account. What's the very first thing you would do? No, like, I suppose buy a house or get a car straight away. But what's the first thing if you wake up and you realize, oh, I've just won 200 billion? How do you? I don't know. How do you celebrate it, I guess.
First thing I would do, call all my family and retire them all in one fell swoop. Like, don't go to work. You're not working. We'd obviously bring them all home and tell them the news. But I say to them, you're not working. You're chilling. We're gonna get some food. We're gonna relax and spend as much money as you want, because you'll never run out. You would literally, if you could buy everything on the planet and never run out. Literally. You know what I mean? The interest on that as well.
Yeah, and
your
friends as well.
The friends would have to come second. Aaron asked me the first thing, but I literally would. I think, because it was just a case of, what's the point of you being the richest person in your area, in your city, if you can't share that with friends? Like, if I had that much money, I'd definitely give it to you guys, because I'd want you guys to. Plus, one, that's too much money for anyone to spend in any sort of lifetime. And I would want you guys to have a chilled life as well. So you could be like, okay, there is no stress. There's literally no stress right now. As long as, we insure ourselves, we don't die, it's calm. We can do whatever we want. So I'll definitely retire as many people as I can. People that I know. I wouldn't retire a stranger on the street. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess it would be kind of lonely. Say if you're just sitting on that money and you weren't allowed to give to anyone else, and your friends are struggling, your family is struggling, I guess it would be a bit lonely, you want to bring everyone up to on the same sort of level, and as you said, just let them chill.
Yeah,
it's quite an interesting thing. That I don't know if you guys ever heard of the rat heaven. So it was like an experiment. I think it was like in the 1990s or something. But basically, they got like 6 rats or so many rats, and they made the perfect maze for them. So these rats were living in this maze. They had all the food that they ever wanted. They had all the space that they ever wanted. So it's basically paradise for the rats. They came back to the experiment and realized that the rats had died after a couple of weeks. They had enough food, enough everything, but they came to the conclusion, because there's not enough resistance in their life, the rats decided there's no point living. And so they just, after a couple of generations, they just died. Because it was a perfect environment. They didn't have to stress about food. friends and family all around them. They just got bored, and I think that's what we are. If we don't have the challenges, day-to-day challenges, life is kind of boring.
Yeah,
I think so as well.
If you look at the lockdowns specifically, the extroverts sort of not died, but they were extremely bored, couldn't do anything, and a bit depressed. And I suppose most people have their mental health issues, but when you have no friction in your life, that is a bit boring. I think humans need something to challenge us, especially with our big brains. So,
yeah.
Did any of you guys invest in anything over 2020 at all?
At the start, I think I was looking at investing in stocks. I think I was having a conversation with my family as well. I think we were talking about gold, investing in gold or looking at the stock market. And now I haven't thought much about it. I just kind of forgot about it. And, maybe I do need to go back onto it. Just something else, other than work, just to bring money in for the future, I guess.
Because my question is, I wanted to know if anyone invested in Bitcoin and had seen those gigantic gains. I remember it was in secondary school and I heard about Bitcoin, as in I like to look at like news and stuff like that. And I came across this thing called Bitcoin. I was like, oh, that's weird. And I think it was like a penny at the time, or really, really cheap. I thought nothing of it, left it. Back then, secondary school, I didn't know how to buy it, but I wish I did buy it because it's like monopoly money now. It's just kind of pointless. You know what I mean? It's so valuable that you don't know what to do with it. But yeah, I was surprised that no one like invested in Amazon or any sort of like Tesla stocks, because I know Josh has been buying to Tesla, which is a bit weird because he's trying to get Molly into investing as well, and so he's like, "Oh, have you checked your app?" But do you guys have any investing apps, or you just
nothing? No, I don't. Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
If you got any suggestions, let me know.
I think Vanguard is quite good. I'll send you a link later to that, I think. So you guys just invest in your pension and just leave it at that.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I mean,
for the moment, yeah.
Yeah, it's not something I've ever really looked into before. Yeah, it's not something I've ever looked into. So,
because you guys are working from home as well, they're thinking about introducing a new tax on people. So if you're working from home and because you're not going out to spend in the economy, would you be okay with a 5% increase in your taxes?
No.
Is that a no?
I realized since I started working that, tax is a bitch.
It really is, yeah.
Because I was reading the thing and they were thinking, we're going to introduce a 5% lockdown tax because you're not spending on like going to Greg's, getting your lunch or whatever. And I just thought that's kind of ridiculous. It's the first time that people can actually save, when like commuting back and forth and paying for XYZ. So when I heard about that, I just thought it was a bit ridiculous. Avi, why didn't you like taxes? Taxes are good. Helps the common person.
Yeah, I guess so. No, it's just that, when you see your salary and you look at how much of that you're actually getting, it just kind of puts a bit of a downer on it. Obviously, I don't mind it. It is what it is. But in the future now, because of what's happened with lockdown and the amount of, financial change that the government's done because of lockdown, it's understandable that there will be, I expect it to be a big tax increase for everyone to kind of, pay for everything that's happened during lockdown.
Would you go for a job promotion knowing that if you get the next band up, you'll get taxed more, so there's not much point going for it? Like, does that impact you? Aaron,
if it was me, I would still take it. I'll still take it just because, if you move up one role, if you move up one job, then you're that much closer to the road above it, and then keep going up. Whereas otherwise you just feel like you're stuck in one place. And if you just don't take it because the extra tax, it's worth it because it's like you're investing in your own career then, because then you're moving up. moving up wherever you are. So yeah, I would take it.
I asked these sort of questions, and it's quite interesting to think about, because I was on the Clubhouse app and I was talking about men and women, and going to relationship therapy, and when you date, the biggest issue that you have with divorce as well, it comes down to money. And do you guys feel like money is a very important factor in relationships and the reason why people divorce, or do you feel like it's a different thing?
I think obviously once you become like a married couple, it is an important thing, money, because it's what you're surviving and living off of. And then kind of compromising of who pays for what, it creates a stable relationship, because as and more time terribly because of money, and all the time that money's been taken by the lawyers, and because money is what you need to survive and live, I guess, really. And I guess once you've, say you and your partner, and you've built something yourself, it might not even about money, but it's the fact that you've built something yourself, and that they could take it away, it would hurt you. So I guess money is a very sensitive issue in relationships.
Do you feel like when you get married, you're going to have a joint bank account, or are you okay to have separate finances?
I think it would be reasonable to have a joint one. Obviously, I will still have my own. Also have a joint one as well.
Yeah, I think it might make sense to have a joint one, because for anything for the house bills all goes at one place, or when you're older and you start to have a family, start to have kids, it's all coming at one place instead of two different places.
So let's say you guys were getting married, and then you found out your partner had £100,000 worth of debt. What do you do? Do you help them to pay it off, or are you just letting them deal with it on their own?
I mean, if I had all the money in the world, then obviously I'd let them pay it off. But if I guess help them as much as I can, but it is still on them, isn't it, to kind of work it off? Because as you said, what if we did have a family? It would be even be even more in debt, because the amount of spending you got to do on that.
What about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm the same as obvious. I suppose it all depends how much money you're making, and if you can afford to do it, because 100,000 is a lot of money.
So we're saying the same salaries that you guys have right now, and let's make it interesting. That is £300,000. It's a mixture of credit cards, student loans that you have to pay back. Let's say it's like American, right? And personal loans as well. So 300K, you're on the salary that you guys are on right now. Are you helping them? You only found out you got married, and you only literally found out, like, you opened one of the letters and it says you got a £300,000 debt. Are you gonna get it together in like a debt snowball and help her work it down, or are you going to let her deal with it on her own?
That's too much, man.
I
don't even think of having that much money anyway.
I mean, it's like if you had 300,000 debt, would you expect your wife to pay for it? Or would you, because you would only put yourself in that position, you'd be the one to do it?
I'll
turn the tables on you.
I'll let my partner know that I'm going through some debt. And if she asks how much, I'll tell her. And I'll say, I have no expectations for you to pay it, but if we are to get married, I will take your debt. Obviously, your debt's going to be smaller than mine, and pull it together and then work it down together. I think if my partner came to me and said, Elijah, I've got a crap ton of debt, and we're working to build up our financial goals, and I know that we won't get divorced, I'll have in my divorce requirement, but I probably would take on the debt with her, because I don't want to. You're going to leave your wife on the side to deal with the debt for 10, 20 years. We're going to help and get it down to like 5 years. What are you saying?
I guess you obviously, you would have to help, for you both to survive. I think wouldn't that have I haven't looked into it, but wouldn't that be trouble with you try to get a mortgage mortgage or any banks, because you're both in it together, aren't you? And if one of you has bad credit, that would affect it, wouldn't it? So I guess you would have to kind of help each other out.
Mhm.
And also said, yeah, as if from the get-go, as soon as they say they're in debt, if they have no sort of expectation of me to pay off and they're working out themselves, that's kind of shows good characteristics from them, that, you know, that they want to be, you know, self-sufficient and independent. But obviously from that, I would still, you know, help them out, because it would be kind of the right thing to do for us to both kind of go further.
I respect that. So me and RV are in agreement. Aaron's like, nah. I sort of need so I was listening to this conversation about men and women having relationship therapy, right? And I thought it was quite interesting. Do you feel like men and women should go to a therapist for their relationship to fine tune it, or do you reckon they should be okay by themselves? What do you think?
I don't know, because I've never, even myself, I've never been into therapy, so I don't know where to begin on that, really.
Yeah, whereas, you know, I have been before. You know, I have been to therapy and stuff like that, and Joe, it does help. Like, it helps you see things in a completely different way. Like, if you'll keep going, you'll say, you know, you're in a relationship or something, and you're in the same, and like you have the same issue, you keep having the same issue. You have your point of view, she has her point of view. Sometimes you need outside person to come in and then, you know, sort of not advise, but they can change your mindset on it. Like you might start to understand your wife's point of view, or she might start to understand your point of view more. I mean, you know, I've never been to relationship therapy. That was the kind of therapy I've been to. So, but yeah, I think it helps. You know, it helps you get a better understanding of what's going on in your life. And
What if the therapist is completely wrong though? So let me give you that example. You find out your wife's got 300K worth of debt. Obviously, you're distraught. You're like, yo, I might need to get a divorce. I might need to separate from this lady. You go, and then you agree to go to a therapist, have that conversation. The therapist says to you, Elijah or Aaron or Arvinder, as the man, and you committed to marry this lady, you have to pay off this debt together. And to you, that's fundamentally wrong, because it's not your debt. You came in together. She wasn't honest about her debt. And now the therapist has said, you are wrong. Obviously, they probably wouldn't say that. What are you saying to that therapist? Are you just saying, what would you say?
I mean,
Find another therapist.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I would say it's always worth going. I mean, yeah, you won't agree with 100% everything that, you know, your therapist is going to say to you, but yeah, I feel like you do agree with more than not in the end. So, yeah, I mean, if it's extra help that you can get to help, you know, you both of you come to an understanding. Because if it's just you two, you might not ever get to, you know, the real problem. Whereas, you know, going to therapy might actually help you find the cause and then help you solve it.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say as well, in terms of, because you guys mentioned before yesterday and the day before, you know, you're making jokes about, you know, lockdown dating. You're ready for arranged marriages now. That's what you guys are joking about. So I just wanted to ask, you know, ask a little question. Do you feel like culture makes a good impact in terms of matches, or do you feel like you should find your true love wherever?
I mean, I'm like, you know, grateful enough to have like a family that are open-minded, and obviously there is still that culture there where, you know, they can find someone for you, but it's not, as you know, it's not really arranged. They, like, for me, they would say, like, you know, obviously see each other for a bit and see how it goes, which is kind of like, you know, one of you guys introducing me to someone. It's kind of the same thing, isn't it? Obviously in other cultures there might be a bit more extreme and, you know, traditional, where they say, no, you know, and on the day of the wedding, this is the person you're gonna marry, which, you know, I probably wouldn't do that. So I guess culturally it does help for matches. I guess it makes things more. I can't think of the word for it now. It makes things a bit more, and a bit easier. Like, say, if you get someone from a similar background, they're most likely to get on with your family, and that's one of the main things as well. Is that if both families get along, it's always a plus, isn't it?
So I suppose they would probably have the same views in terms of money, ownership, and stuff like that. What about you, Aaron? Do you feel like when looking at your matches, do you feel like culture plays a massive part into it?
For me personally, it doesn't really make too much of a impact for you. Like, I wouldn't go on these apps and then just, I don't know, put the filter on, see goals or anything like that. I think it's all about who you have the best connection with, regardless of ethnicity. I mean, even though I'm a Sikh, I'm not the most religious person at all, or my family aren't really. So my family are open-minded as well. They just say, as long as you're happy, that that's all that matters in the end. So if you're happy with someone who just happens not to be Sikh, then that's worth more, having like a really good connection with someone than feeling like, oh, I need to marry a Sikh, and then the connection just isn't the same as it could be with someone else. But yeah, that's just what I think about it. Yeah, I think yeah.
So what age would you say this is the age I'm just going to get a arranged marriage? I understand now it's not just you turn up and on a wedding day, sort of like a match fit. So what age would you say you guys would start that process?
I guess maybe late 20s, maybe up until I'm 30. Because
like 28, 29, 30.
Yeah, definitely be up by 30, because I would want to, get, because I want to have a family, and I want to be around, want to be around for a long time with them as well. And arranged marriages, from what I've seen from my experience, it's a high success rate as well.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah. In my family, you sort of see that the ones who arrange, they tend to, they do have more success, really. And it's not, as I've said, it's not like you just show up on the day and this is like how it was a few years ago. It's all changed. Now you actually get to see each other for months before you decide that this is the person. So it has all changed. So.
And especially with this pandemic, I'm also thinking about in terms of like entertainment things to do, and like takeaway treats. Like today, just to let you guys know, I did have a Domino's pizza. Oh, it was pretty good, but I'm getting tired of eating junk food. Like, what is your lockdown takeaway treat that you're secretly ashamed of having?
I haven't had much takeaway, really. I did at the start, but because most of my family do cook now, even my brother started cooking. I'm probably the one who doesn't cook because everyone else does. I guess most of the time, if it's takeaway, we normally just go for pizza, really, or I guess just pizza. Because even where I live, it's hard to get, like, on Uber Eats app or Deliveroo. Not many deliver to here. Not many of the big chains do.
Will be Aaron.
Yeah, that's the same as Arvi. I think we are starting to make more food at home than anything else. So the odd takeaway we do, it's always the same. We always go to the same place. Do you guys know the Omo House? It's like a in Indian food. Go there. Do we get a takeaway from there? Right. Every so often when we do get takeaway, it's always from there. So it's always like the same food, really. But yeah, that's about it.
Fair enough. I feel shamed for having one this year so far, but I'm just feeling lazy, and especially after Monday. Mondays are like busy days for me, so definitely I couldn't be asked. Last question to wrap this up then. Are you guys watching anything good on TV? Anything good to watch that I've been missing? I've watched everything from Bridgerton all the way down to I don't know, something called Lupin that I'm watching. It's like this French detective. Are you watching anything that I should be watching?
I think you've probably seen most of them. It's Netflix. Like I really enjoyed. I think 2020 the best series was The Queen's Gambit. That's such a good show. Yeah.
Very good.
Other stuff. I think I just go back to watching the same old stuff like The Office. I love The Office. Friends. You know, the same old Peep Show. I do miss kind of British comedies. Films, I just watched the same probably of films. There wasn't that many new ones because they didn't make many, did they? What have you guys seen?
Have you guys got Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
You guys got Amazon Prime. There's a series on there called it's called Below the Below the and it's about the people who work on like luxury luxury yachts. And I mean, to be honest, the show it's alright, but it's just one of those that you just can't, once you're into it, you can't stop watching it. And it's about the people who work on luxury yachts and stuff. And then it shows the people who are really rich and they come on this and they're just so they're so like, I don't know, they're like such a snobs, I guess, because they have so much money. And also these boats, I did look online. To rent one for a week is 400,000 for a week. That's how much these yachts go for. And there's one group of people. They were like all Instagram influencers, and they had never met each other before. So they spent 400 grand, and they never met anyone. They were actually going on this weekend away. Then imagine that you spend 400k on like a luxury holiday, and you go with people you don't even know. Yeah, it was just weird, but it's worth watching. I would say because on Amazon Prime, if you search Below Deck, I think there's 13 series of it altogether. It's quite good though. I'm on like series 6, I think so.
Aaron, that sounds like I don't know if you guys have watched Inside the World's Toughest Prisons.
No, that's a new thing, isn't it?
100%. It's Taylor's got me into it, and it's like all these prison programs where all these criminals commit crimes inside prison. And I'm watching the series, and I'm just thinking, I have run out of things to watch, and I'm just watching anything at the moment. And Below Deck, Aaron, not to be mean or anything, but it sounds like paint drying. That sort of thing.
I mean, it is sort of the same, or it's all is the same thing pretty much every episode. They get a different set of people on the boat, and it's just the same. It's like people always such snobs. I watched this episode yesterday, and the chef is like incredible. Like the food, everyone says is incredible. So he made the guests like I think he made them some really nice looking chicken, and like everyone went crazy for it. I mean, everyone went crazy saying, "Why has the chef served me this chicken?" And like, what's crazy is they said it's so nice. I mean, they were saying that it's really good food, but I'm on a luxury yacht. I shouldn't be eating chicken. One of the guests said chicken is for poor people. I mean, it's just the people you get on there were just unbelievable, really.
I'll give it a try, man. It's interesting.
It's worth watching, to be fair.
Aaron, if you pay 400 grand and you get chicken, you're gonna be a bit annoyed.
But it's like it's like the chef said. You go to all of these, name any fancy restaurant in the world, they will have chicken on the menu in some form. They will. So it's like also they all said it's really nice as well, but they're complaining because they said, "Oh, I'm on the sea," whereas like I should have fish or some shrimp or something. But I don't know. It just dumb how they can say the food is really, really nice, but then say I don't want it because it's for poor people. I mean, it's just so it's madness. It's absolute madness. but it's worth watching. I've got another 6 series left, and I'm not sure if I'll finish it, to be honest, but because it's just the
That's
same
long.
stuff. But it is worth watching. It's worth watching a few series at least.
You know what? I'll give it a go. I've been watching Beta Squad, you know, with like Chunks and them lot. I'll give it a go. I've literally got nothing else to watch, to be honest. So I'll definitely give it a go, man. I'm gonna wrap this one up because like my bum is a bit tired. But yeah, see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. And you guys got the link to the YouTube channel now, so hopefully